All right, people, I'm back. So here we go, working on some Legio Solaria models for Adepticus Titanicus. Make sure, let me put my phone on vibrate so we don't have disruptions. Built. So I got 4 Warhounds. I've got 2 Reavers. Let me put these forward. 2 Reavers that are not done. They're naked, and 1 Warlord. And this is going to be what I'm trying to do this weekend is to finish working on the Warhounds. Now, this was my prototype, the one that I got finished. If you know Legio Solaria, they started out as a all-female piloted Legion, and there's a great book on that. And then their color scheme is a molted green armor, carapace armor with red weapons and heads and stuff like that. So this is accurate to the book. At this scale, it is very difficult to replicate a molted scheme. If you think, World War II airplanes, a lot of the German aircraft had a molted paint job. Your Messerschmitts, some of your Focke-Wulfs. But this, I would have to say is good enough for gaming. And it is a pretty good compromise, I think. It gives you the sense of what they were trying to do. I accomplished this through several different techniques. You can find a few good build articles online, and eventually I'll do one of my own on how I painted these. A lot of different techniques were used. I used base coating, with the airbrush. Then I painted some colors in with the airbrush. Then I used the sponge technique. You can see my sponge here. Basically, I went and dabbed on the green. That's actually not just one green. It's a couple different greens I used to get a different layer of depth. Then I went back and used the airbrush to put the white on, where several other modelers will actually go and sponge the white on. I actually like the control that I get off of doing this rather than to use the sponges again. And it has more of a feathered effect. You can see that line right there is kind of a hard line. You can tell I airbrushed right there. It's not as much feathered as, let's say, up here. But after all that, there was a clear coat put on, so I could put the decals on, and then I hit it with a wash. And some of the places were washed with a green, and some were washed with a black. And after all that, the metal effects, here's the big cheater, the metal effects were all done with Sharpie markers. So this is my newest thing. I'm all excited. But I did all the effects with Sharpies, and it was much better than trying to do it with a brush, I promise you. And it looks great, I think. And and once you flat coat it, they don't go anywhere. So all you see here, all this metal work was done with Sharpie markers, and you get a couple of brush dings here and there. But the cool thing about it is, let me see if I can find a brush ding. You can you go right over it with the wash, and it hides it. So I don't see where I did. Oh, here we go. See, like right there, you have where I tag the line. When I put the wash on here, that is just going to go turn green, and it'll be done. So this is this guy's next step. I've been working on him a little bit. He's about to get a gloss coat, so I can put some decals on and do some of the washes. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with the eyes yet. The eyes, they should pop. I'm not very good at doing eyes. On this one, I tried to do an orange, but then I highlighted it with the gold around it, and it just took the orange right out of it. So Yeah, let's figure something out. I have all the arms magnetized so that I can change weapons on all of them. That was fun to do. Real easy to do, as a matter of fact. And so then, like, I don't have any other weapons painted yet, but you can just snap them in just like that. And then you can have different weapon loadouts. You're not really hung up on one type of weapon. More or less, I've glued all the carapace down, and I haven't done the bases yet. I'm going to wait till I'm finished and come up with a good scheme for the bases. But basically what I've done is I've only tacked them down with a little drop of super glue, so I could take my hobby knife and just put it under there and apply a little pressure, and they'll pop right off without breaking the model. So I'm going to build probably one or two more models to this set, and I'm going to call this set done. And I have several other Adeptus Titanicus models that I'm going to build with different legions. And so my goal is to have at least 2 legions that I can play against each other. So, but this is what they look like naked without their carapace armor. And man, I mean, look, the detail on these things is great. You know, they have all kind of stuff back here. You can go in and highlight a bunch of gears and things. The toes even have little detail on them, and I think you may be able to see it with this one. So you can see that the toes have a lot of good detail. They're a little wonky on the legs, putting the legs together, because as you'll see, like I put a couple legs on backwards, like this leg. I wanted to achieve a running effect, but I had to put the leg on backwards because that's supposed to be facing down. I'm just going to leave it as is and tack the carapace to it. Most people won't even notice. Well, maybe you will now that I pointed it out on the internet. So, but here in a little bit, we're going to take our marker and start working on these carapace pieces. But I just basically, I'm testing out the camera, and I'm testing out the camera and seeing how it's going. I got a question from Hot Potato. Why did I pick Solaria? And I read the book, and I'm gapping the name of it right now, but I like the fluff. But when I got the Adeptus Titanicus books, I really liked the paint job. I thought the paint job would be something that would be very technical and hard to pull off. And there are a few great examples. I believe Lee Marshall on the Forge World, on the Facebook Adeptus Titanicus page, he was the one that set the standard for this paint job. And basically using his technique and a couple other techniques, I developed this, whereas they sponge their whites on, I basically airbrush it back on. And you know, I'll have to build, when I do some of the carapace armors for the Reaver, I'll take you through that process. But here's the Reavers. But Hot Potato, thanks for the question, buddy. Appreciate you. Kilroy, good to see you back. So let me, I know if you saw the previous video, my computer is at a 90-degree angle to the models. So I have to look over there, and it's, I'm trying to read the questions. So Kilroy is asking, would it be possible to cut the legs so that they just are facing backwards? I think I just made the mistake, Kilroy, of I probably could have switched the legs and just, they're here at the joint, you can plug them in either side. And I think I just made the mistake of plugging it in the wrong side. But I think this action pose is a lot better than a static pose, because warhounds, they're the hunters. You know, Legio Solaria are the hunters. They are known for their use of warhounds. And I don't think that just having a warhound standing there looking like he's getting ready for lunch, you know, they need to convey movement and dynamic pose. So, all right. So I'm leaving off all the carapace pieces. So basically what I do is I take and I build to this level, which is the basic frame, because here's a reaver. And then I leave all of the carapace pieces on the sprue so they don't get lost and confused. And then here's the warlord. And so here you can see, like, I've gotten them all to about the same point. And then I'm basically, at that point, when I'm ready to build the model, I'll pop the carapace pieces off and I'll start to paint them separately. So my formula for painting these is I will go basically, I'll prime in black. Then I paint over it with a white. Then I'll sponge the green on. And then I will come back in with the airbrush and hit these parts right here. And then I'll go back in with the green and sponge a little bit more into the white, kind of blending it together. And if I need to go back and touch up some spots, I will. And then at that point, usually the markers come out. I'll do the trim. And then I'll gloss coat it so that I can put the decals on and the washes. Now this little fella right here, I've already glued everything together so that I can decal them. But I believe, looking at it, it's been a while since I worked on this guy, but I can tell from the sheen that he's already got the semi-gloss coat on him. So the next step for this guy will be decals, and then a little bit more with the washes, because it looks like I've already washed him too. So just a little bit of touch up. This little fella's almost done. So also a good thing is you can go back with, if I can find it, these pencils, right? This is a Prismacolor pencil, and you can hit like the highlights right here, like the top edge of this silver piece, and it will give you an edge highlight. And then once you gloss coat over it, it will it'll just blend in. But if you can see, like right here, check it out. There, I just made an edge highlight. And you know, I'm getting a little bit older, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. So the any cheater method I could use to make it look better is great. But you can just do this. And you see there, I've already edge highlighted the top. So, oh yeah, metallic Sharpies. So this is the silver Sharpie there, Kilroy. You can. I don't know if you can hear my dogs outside my window. I got a couple of dachshunds, and I leave them outside during the day when the weather's good, and they're out there. They're out there playing right now. So if you hear some things that sound like animals killing each other, there's just my dogs playing. It's okay. So yeah, these silver mark. Actually, I went and got a whole pack of them. Oops, hang on. Let me lean in here. I went and got the whole pack. And so these are all different colors. What I was hoping to do with these was the eyes. Now, these are all fine tipped, but they're not metallic. They have another pack for the metallic paints or the metallic markers. And I've already unpacked all those. You've got silver. Let me see. We got silver. Where are my other ones? There's a bronze and a gold. And I just can't find the bronze and the gold right now. It's here. And my desk is usually very organized. But like I said, it's been a while, and I'm a little out of the habit of where everything is. I'll find them. But heck, I just went to Walmart, and they had these at the Walmart over in the craft section. And oh, here's the gold right here. And then here's gold, and there's a bronze. So this color right here was the gold Sharpie, and then some of the brass was this right here. It's a little bit darker tone, if you can tell the difference over the camera. I'll hold it up a little bit closer. I'm getting a little bleed out. I have a light directly overhead, and so I'm not able to do that. But here you go. So you have bronze and you have gold. So yeah, that's about it. So what are you working on, Kilroy? What kind of stuff have you got? What do we got? I got 3 viewers. Nice. Hey, this is my first time back in a while, guys. Man, it's been life. Every time I sit down to start to get my modeling life back together, something happens in real life that just throws everything asunder. The last time I was getting the channel fired up, I was taking care of an elderly relative. We ended up, long story short, passed away. A good old guy, my uncle, Korea War vet. He's a good dude. He liked to build models also, which was cool because we could talk about stuff. I wasn't around him a lot growing up. He was in the Navy and stuff, and so but that took a lot of time away from everything. And now it's like my son. I said earlier in the video, he went off to college. Actually, he's finished college. He went off to the Air Force, and I am for sure empty nesting it. He won't be home except for holidays. And I'm just trying to figure out what to do with my life. But I've always had good friends in the hobby world, and they were always good people to hang out with. So whether they were Warhammer modelers or airplane modelers, it's always a good bunch of dudes, sometimes ladies, to hang out with. And so why not get back into that and hang out with them and get things done. So that's what I'm trying to get started again here with the live broadcast. And we'll see what happens. Let me see. Nighttime. Can you guess who this is? No. Ooh, nighttime. Chad. Is that you, Chad? That would be cool. Chad Knight. Yeah, maybe. No. Chad Knight, the man, the myth, the legend. Good hearing from you, dude. I hope you've been well. Yep, good to go, bro. Chad is a 19th Legion member from way back. War Games Con a few years way back. Actually, they came out yesterday and they canceled the 2021 War Games Con. They call it Bowls Con now, and they canceled it because of the beer bug. And they're having trouble. I think guys were stuck through 2021, man. It's going to be small events. I'm not sure that even the LVO is going to get off the ground this year. I know that Reese and them said that they were committed to contractually to have the event for the next 5 years, but you can't have meetings greater than than like 50 people in Vegas. So, I think it's a wash, and I hope they survive as a business, man, because they're great dudes. All right, check out how easy this is, and we'll keep chatting. Oh, playing neck runs, I see. We still got a good group down here, Chad. We've got it's still a bunch of the old guys. There's not too much happening at Jack's. He hasn't really reopened. There's a place in Gulfport called Pandas, and they're doing pretty well. Panda is a really nice guy. And then McNarb's over in Gaucher, they've gotten away from doing 40K. So I think they still have some people play up there. Look how easy this is. All you have to do is not touch the parts that you don't want silver, and it works right out. I mean, this is so much easier than using a brush. I mean, it is cheating, have no doubt. Like if somebody sits here with a brush and they line all this stuff out, God bless them. That's all I get to say. But my old eyes, I appreciate the break, and yeah, I can pretty much sit here and do this all day. As long as you stay in the lines, just like coloring, it dries really quick, so you don't have to worry about putting your fingers on it. I try not to touch it up too much. I don't like to go back and having to fix it or do something twice. But now it does help. A little tip: if you should get more than one marker, because what happens after a few minutes, the markers dry out. And then you got to put the cap back on them for a little while. But then after that, they're good to go. So I have a couple of each color that I just go over. Is this clear? Yeah, it looks clear. Boop. And then if you want to do these little raised parts right here, you just use the flat part of the marker, and you're not in danger of touching the painted part. Well, I did right there. But like I said, as soon as I come back in with the wash, that silver part will just disappear, and you won't even see it. It might be a little bit reflective, but it just depends on the wash that you use. I'm washing these with the oh, what is the color? It's the green wash. It is here somewhere. And Antholian Camo Shade, and that's what I'm using the wash with. So Augusta, Georgia, there, Kilroy. If I went up to Atlanta and did the paint class with the guys there at Gigabytes Cafe, and that was a good trip. Is Augusta anywhere near Atlanta? Yeah, dude. What I mean, like, watch this. Watch this here, Kilroy. You see that little part sticking up? You just come in like this. I mean, and then that's it's going to be done. It works out great. This is so cheater. And then I'll show you some of the other colors here in a second. But I mean, that's it, and it's a good color. It looks just like Leadbelcher. In fact, it's like Leadbelcher without a wash. Like I'll always wash my Leadbelcher with the black, or what, depending on what kind of wash I have on hand. Normally Nuln Oil, and then it gives it that toned down look. But if I want to go back and highlight the stuff that I've washed, then I'll just do it with these Sharpies. Yeah, and it's a lot from building Raven Guard, because Raven Guard was black. And man, it is difficult to paint black armies and make them look good. And the key to having a black army that looks good is knowing how to edge highlight. And so I've just spent all of my time edge highlighting crap. And I heard about this on the internet and gave it a try. And that's it. So let me try a different color, so you guys can see what the gold looks like. I don't know. All right, we'll come in here. We'll do this. We're gonna do this guy. We're gonna do the we'll do this here in gold. This is a little bit dark. I'll probably come back and follow it up, highlight it with the brass when I find the brass. This marker is looking a little dry. And it's okay if you touch out of the lines just a little bit, because you can make it up. And so also what you would do is take once you get it sealed, I wouldn't do this without sealing it, but I would come back in and put a little dab of diluted nullet oil on there and get it taken care of. Put some shadow in there to make it pop a little more. But yeah, this is what it's like, man. This works out pretty good. Now it's not as you can see that it's not that bright, and you have to work on getting it building it up a little bit. But see, this has got a wash of Nolan oil on it, if you can see that, and these two do not yet. But if I could find the brass, it's got to be here somewhere. I've got a huge model desk, and there's just so much stuff on here. It's not even funny. I really need to consolidate. Brass. Where you at? Well, I can't find the brass. It's here somewhere. And as soon as I shut the camera off, it'll jump right out and get me. Yep. So, okay. So, Chad, if you're on Facebook, hit me up on Facebook. I got rid of the 19th Legion channel on Facebook. I'm in a little dispute with Facebook over getting censored over some posts. I don't appreciate being censored. However, after trying to get off of Facebook, I found that you can't get away from Facebook because that's where everybody is. So, for sure, I'm keeping YouTube, even though it belongs to Google. I'm not going to get political here, but YouTube is where it's at. And this is where I'm going to try and invest my hobby time. So if you guys are, digging this kind of tips and stuff, just keep coming back, man. I'm going to keep doing more. I've just got to get some momentum built with the hobby progress. So, let me show you this. I got this kit. I got this brush. It's an army painter brush for dry brushing, and I haven't used it yet. But on the videos I've seen on the internet, to do this kind of, instead of using a sponge, people have been using these army painter dry brushes, and the bristles are very soft, and they come in 3 different styles. I gotta stop saying It's hard when you haven't done public speaking in a while. So you have like a smaller, a medium, and a big one. And come on, my Lazy Susan's not working. All right, here we go. You get this in a 3 set, and it's so I think that this may work for doing the sponge technique on this. So I'm going to give it a try. But, I'll do a whole how I do this paint technique if you're ever looking to do this. And the hard part for Legio Solaria is coming up with the decals. And I was lucky in the beginning, I grabbed several sheets. But I think for the most part, this army right here, I think I'm going to go one more Warlord and maybe one more for Hound, because this Legio does not use a lot of Reaver Titans. But the Reaver Titans in the game are pretty outstanding. They, they're the Carapace missile launcher. You can shoot stuff that's not in line of sight with it. And that's pretty sexy. So once I get all these built, I'm going to move on to a different Legion, and I'm not sure which one at that point. I guess I'm just go back to highlighting some stuff still. Got any questions? Kilroy, let me get back to you on that. On the magnet sizes, there was an article on, if you go to the Adeptus Titanicus forum on Facebook and you look up and you go into the history and ask, what size magnets do I need? In the previous post, early days of Adeptus Titanicus, people pointed out the magnets to use. And these are a little bit bigger, but they work perfect for the inside of the carapace stuff. And I'm not, I got them off of Amazon. These may be the little bit bigger ones. Yeah, see, like that's exactly what I use right there on that. So I know for a fact that there's two sizes. It's this size and this size. And I know that's a terrible, terrible thing, bro, to tell you. But I don't know exactly where they are. But if you go on the forums on Facebook, the Adeptus Titanicus page, and ask the questions, they will do that. Let me see if I can do that right now. Doo-doo-doo. All right. Facebook. I'm also building a Raptor army. I've sold, or I'm in the process of selling out of a bunch of older models, and I've got like 5 armies. So I'm gonna cut down on my armies, and then I'm going to just concentrate on a couple. So I will be getting rid of a bunch of stuff here on Facebook and eBay. Adeptus Titanicus. All right. All right. Okay, so Kilroy, it looks like the 5 millimeter diameter times 2 millimeter thickness in 35 magnets are what you need. If you go on the Adeptus Titanicus 2018 page, and that's what I got on the search, but it says 5 millimeter by 2 millimeter in 35 magnets. And that looks like the size that you need there. And I know that there was one a little bit smaller than that. And that's what I use both. Because a lot of times you're going to drill right into the top of the, you're going to, let me see if I can just give you that, hang on one second. I'm going to try and just, I don't know if I can, put this in the feed, but let's see. Nope. Hang on one second. There we go. Bam. Copy. All right. This is my first time doing the live feed in a long time, so I don't know if this actually works out. Now, see if that works. So, guys, if you're viewing, I would appreciate you if you would hit thumbs up on my channel. Maybe leave a comment on the video once it's posted up. It will help me in the future get other people to the channel. And I know I still have 1,400 people subscribed to the channel, but I don't know how many of those people are active in Warhammer anymore. I'm going to hopefully be appealing to some model builders, regular model builders, and hopefully I can grow the channel. But this project is the one I'm working on now, and soon I will finish this, and I'm going to be moving back to the Raptors and onto some regular plastic models. And I'm pretty pumped up about the regular plastic models. I've been wanting to get back into building them for a long time. So the good part of that is I have so damn many. Like I just got in a Battlestar Galactica Viper and the original Buck Rogers spaceship this week. Got them off of eBay, and it cost a ton. But I had the Buck Rogers bad guy ship that my uncle gave me, and I needed Buck Rogers ship, so I was able to get it. Paid an arm and a leg. It's become quite the collector's kit now, but I'm not one that believes in holding kits and not building them. So I will definitely be building that kit to put on the shelf next to the Marauder kit. So now, if you were with me, and I told you these markers have a tendency to dry out really easy, this marker is beginning to dry out. And so it gets harder to put the color down. Yep. Yeah, I do. I still have the Manta. And dude, I plan on the problem is it's a first world problem. Is what I need to get is a portable table that's big enough that I can put it down on, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to put a lot of extra detail into it. Throw probably some fiber optic lights into it, and then I'm going to super detail paint it, and I hope to bring it to Vegas late next year. Hopefully things will be back to normal, and I can bring it to Vegas to the IPMS Nationals. It's the International Plastic Model Builders Association. It's a giant club for plastic model builders, and they have a convention. They have regionals and they have the nationals. And then you go to the nationals, usually that'll draw a big crowd, but like around here in the I-10 corridor, we used to have a great modeling scene. We had a club here in Biloxi. There was one in Mobile. There's still one in Pensacola. There was 2 or 3 in New Orleans. But man, everybody's aged out. So, yep. Yeah, so basically, everybody's aged out, and the clubs have started slowing down a little bit. Well, think about how impressive that dang Manta is, and I've got a pretty impressive flight stand for it. So I believe I'm going to bring it and then light it up, and I have the 8 crisis suits for the back. So I'll build the 8 crisis suits like in their stowed positions. I'll have the devilfish in the bottom, and then like midway during the show, I'll go through and I'll open up the bottom and the top to where you can see the troop sitting in the top and the vehicle sitting in the bottom. And I think that's going to blow people's mind. So the only problem is, how do I get it from here to Las Vegas? Like, I'm in Mississippi, so getting it from Mississippi to Las Vegas, that's going to be the challenge. So that's at least a 3-day drive in the car. But I bet I got some friends out there who would go with me. It would be a lot of fun. Be a good time. Let me make sure I get the right one. So let me back up through the feed there, Kilroy, and see what you're working on, buddy. And I know you said you had some Adeptus Titanicus stuff. Yeah, looking back here, Kilroy, my son's going to be stationed in Vegas. He's going to be stationed at Nellis, and that gives me another reason to go out there. I think that's going to be great. So. I hate that I've been out of the game system for so long. I've got so many good memories tied up in Warhammer. If you look back at my old videos, man, with the when I had my old garage set up, that was the time. Back when Chad was there, back when everybody was playing. Heck, we'd do 3 or 4 games a week at my house, and that was my other house, not this house. And I actually donated that gaming table to a local game store called Jack's, and but that was a great gaming table. And man, we used to have so much fun. But kind of why I got out of the hobby was another reason was that I am 52, 53. I keep cheating on that. And my friends who got me into the hobby, they're a little bit older than I am. One's close to 60, and they've quit doing the hobby. So now I have the choice, of going to hanging out, like to go to the game store. Man, I'm the oldest dude in there, including the owner. So it's kind of weird being that old guy hanging around with all these young guys. And so it's kind of discouraging to go hang out at the store to catch a game. And then the friends that used to play at my house, they just don't play as much anymore. Or, they don't have a lot of time, so they spend all their time going to travel tournaments and doing competitive stuff. And I think really I just want to get back into Beer Hammer, just casual play and call it a day, man. That's it. And then I'm going to build models until I can't see no more. And then when I can't see these, I'll just build something bigger. And then this is a great hobby. It's very stress relieving. And it's you get something at the end of it. That I think the best part of Warhammer is that when you're done building the models, you get to play with them. Because my airplanes, when I build my airplanes, they basically just go sit on the shelf and catch dust, unless you're going to take them out to the to a model contest. And then there just aren't as many model contests around as there used to be. It's part of that aging out. So who knows? Who knows? But this one's done. Done. I gotta get this one. Yes. So is there anything that you guys are looking forward to? In the future of Warhammer? I guess 9th edition's coming out. And I guess Space Marines are still silly good. And I guess Necrons are pretty good. It seems like everybody I know is they're running to play Chaos, as always. Oh wow! Well, where are you from, Kilroy? What part of the country? Man, my dogs are lighting into it out there. They're great. A couple of dachshunds. Those dogs are so stupid. They make me laugh. They're great fun. But they're getting into. I don't know if you can hear them or not. Are you still playing a bunch there, Chad? Ugh. Here are some of my here are some of my Raptors that I've been working on. So you can, I think you can see them. Yeah. I've really been enjoying these, and the reason why I went with the Raptors is because these guys are a second founding of the Raven Guard, and I had painted enough Raven Guard to choke a horse, so I went ahead and got some of these. And working with the green actually helped me out a lot with the Solaria models, and I think the army's gonna be pretty impressive once I get it together. You know. And for the record, I didn't use the markers on these. That's all paint. But I did use some of the Forge World decals, which are pretty darn sexy. And then I like this. I like this one a lot. The apothecary. Let's see if I get it. I think he turned out great. I'm very happy with this. The white was a little challenging, but like I said, just like everything I've done has led me up to the point where the Solaria that I'm getting them down pretty well, and it's basically because I worked on these. I hadn't worked on white much before this guy, and there's a couple things I could do on here to pop up some detail, but for the most part, I think he turned out great. I can't wait to get him on the table because it's a shame to do all this work on these models and then let them sit on the shelf. That's a terrible waste. So need to get them out there, get them on the table, get some games in. So yeah, there you go. Bam. Yeah, other than that, let me see. What else I've been working on? This is my F-84F. I built this a long time ago, but this is going to be a Thunderbirds model. I mean, it's even got look at all that dust. It's been in storage for about 100 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to paint it the natural metal paint scheme, which means essentially silvers and stuff like that. And then I have the Thunderbird decals that go on it. And so I'm going to build it as a Thunderbird. And then I've been working on this. This is a Sky Raider. Besides the Corsair, I believe this is one of my favorite airplanes. This was the Sky Raider was all the technology that they came out with in World War II went into making this fighter. And so it came into its own in Korea, and then it lasted all the way through Vietnam. And they used it in Vietnam to escort the Jolly Green helicopters in to rescue pilots. And their call sign was Sandies. And they could just haul a ton of bombs. Look at all those holes there. Those are holes for all the bomb struts. And so I'm going to be building this. If you can see, I'm not sure how well it turns out with the light, but I appreciated a bunch of the wing. And so that pre-shading, that's the first time I've messed around, but you can see it a little bit right there. But yeah, I've got that going. I'm working on this guy's been parked on the bench for a while. I was trying to use some of those washes, some of those new paints, and actually it didn't turn out that bad. I think it'll be a lot better once I finish the model. But I think the cape came out okay. It looks pretty different. I just got to get him painted. So these are the things that we're going to be working on in the next few weeks. This is my lieutenant. It's my favorite pose ever. That is awesome. Pulling the sword out. And basically, I just quit working right in the middle of doing all these. And I got to get picked back up and get started again. So, that's about that. All right. Well, that I think this is it. I think that's 50 minutes, and this was my first time back. So I believe I'm going to go ahead and close out the live. I appreciate all of you for being here. If you could, like I said, make sure that give me a thumbs up if you can, and hit the subscribe button if you've never subscribed to my channel before. Chad, it was good talking to you again, buddy. If you're still out there, maybe one day we can get back together and get some games in. And Hot Potato, Kilroy, I appreciate you interacting on the chat. It was a good time. And I hope you guys will come back. If I had to say there was going to be a predictable schedule for this, I would bet it would be Sunday mornings. Sunday is normally my cleaning the house day, but it's also, while the wash is gone and stuff, it's when I tend to do the most hobby. I may end up doing some videos with the Grumpy Gamers guys, and we'll see what happens. I'm not sure exactly. I've got to figure out this ability to switch the camera that YouTube doesn't afford you, which probably means I'm going to have to get one of those programs that allows you to do the high-speed stuff with the chats. But let's see how far we get into it first, and then we'll see what happens. So, all right, any questions before I leave? All right, no questions. All right, y'all, it's been good. I appreciate you looking in. I'm going to keep working on these models, and I'll post up some pictures in a hobby update, and then we'll work out the rest of the logistics. But this was a good first go, and I appreciate you all for being here, and we'll see you probably next week. Have a good one now. Signing off from the 19th Legion.